Welcome to the AI for Career Success video overview by Curt Robbins. We're experts at AI coaching and helping professionals like you and your employees upskill in AI. This statement from technologist Zifeng L really gets to the heart of a massive shift happening right now in enterprise software. It's a disruption so big, some are even calling it the SaaSpocalypse. What it suggests is the end of an era that was defined by people, by humans, logging into browsers to get work done. And it points toward a future where the main user of software might not be human at all.
So, today we're going to break down this whole transformation. We'll start by looking at the threat to the current SaaS model, then we'll trace the evolution of software to see how we got here. We'll also analyze Salesforce's big strategic response and explore what this new agent-first world looks like. And, most importantly, we'll talk about what all of this means for you. Our analysis is based on a really insightful LinkedIn discussion that's been happening among tech leaders, which was sparked by recent reports in the Wall Street Journal and VentureBeat.
Okay, let's get right into it. The core fear that's really gripping the industry is this. Autonomous AI agents are poised to make the business model that has dominated for years, the per-employee or per-seat sales model, completely obsolete. You know, for decades, the value proposition was incredibly simple. A company paid for a software license, what we call a seat, for every single employee who needed to use that software. But now, as businesses start delegating entire workflows over to AI agents, things like IT support or customer service, those human seats are starting to vanish. Companies are downsizing, and they're starting to ask a very logical question. Why are we paying for all these software licenses that aren't even tied to a human user anymore? This anecdote really exposes a hidden reality of what's happening. It shows how customers are quietly deploying AI agents and cutting their reliance on human-operated software, often long before the software vendor even has a clue. The revenue loss, that churn, is coming. It just hasn't shown up in the quarterly reports yet, and that time lag creates a really dangerous blind spot for software companies that are still clinging to the old way of doing things. Now, to really understand this disruption, it helps to see it not as some sudden catastrophe, but more as the next logical step in the evolution of enterprise software. The analyst Santosh Sharan gives us a really useful framework for this, looking at the history of CRM software as three distinct waves. So the first wave was CRM as a simple system of record. It was basically just a database where people had to manually enter all the data. The second wave saw it evolve into a workflow engine, a central dashboard you could use for analysis and some automation. But now we're entering the third wave, CRM as an invisible intelligence infrastructure. And in this new cycle, the main user is the AI agent itself, which accesses all the platform's data and logic directly, often without any human clicking a mouse at all. This brings us to the biggest player in the industry, Salesforce. Their new Headless 360 initiative is not just some new feature. It's a very direct, very strategic response to this new agent-driven future. So it's really crucial to understand what Headless actually means. It's about decoupling the platform's powerful back end, all its data, its workflows, its business logic, from the traditional front end that we're all used to, the browser-based user interface. This exposes all that core functionality directly to AI agents through things like APIs and other tools, which lets them operate the platform without a person ever having to log in. This quote from Salesforce co-founder Parker Harris is, well, it's pretty revolutionary. Just a few years ago, a statement like this would have been considered heresy. The entire company was built on its user interface. For him to say this, it signals a complete reversal of that old philosophy. It's an admission that the future of their platform might not involve a UI at all, at least not one that a human uses. This slide really just lays out the whole paradigm shift perfectly. You can see the primary user changes from a human to an AI agent. The main interface moves from a visual browser UI to a programmatic API. And, most critically, the entire business model has to evolve, away from a static, per-seat fee to a dynamic, consumption-based model that's driven by agent activity. And of course, this isn't just about Salesforce. This pivot toward an agent-first architecture has really profound implications for the entire enterprise software ecosystem. According to Box CEO Aaron Levy, this shift isn't only a threat, it's also a massive opportunity. Think about it. Agents can work 24/7. They can work in parallel across countless systems. This means they're going to use the underlying software platforms far more intensively than humans ever could, maybe even 100 times more. This huge increase in utilization is what unlocks entirely new use cases and creates enormous value for the platforms that can adapt. This insight from Arvind Jain is absolutely key. He argues that the value is no longer in the screen you click on. The real defensible value now lies in the deep enterprise context that platforms like Salesforce have spent decades building up. The structured data models, the complex business rules, the governance layers. This is the context that agents need to operate with real judgment and to perform complex tasks effectively. This simple phrase, API is the new UI, has really become the mantra of this new era. It means that the most important user of your software is no longer a person, but another program. Success is now going to depend on how easily and how powerfully AI agents can connect to and command your system, turning everything into callable infrastructure.
So, let's bring all this together. What are the practical implications of all this for business leaders, for founders, and for technology professionals? What should you really take away from this fundamental shift? Okay, there are 4 crucial points to remember here. First, the per-seat pricing model is on its way out. Second, the entire design philosophy for software is moving from being UI first to agent first. Third, the real enduring value of a platform is its underlying context, the data, the logic, the rules, not its shiny interface. And finally, the companies that move first and embrace this agentic future are likely to secure a significant long-term competitive advantage.
And this quote really underscores the core strategic lesson here. As the market leader, Salesforce absolutely could have tried to protect its existing cash cow, but instead, it chose to proactively disrupt its own business model. This shows that true market leadership requires the courage to accept some short-term revenue risks in exchange for shaping and ultimately dominating the next wave of technology.
So this is really the ultimate question that this whole transformation poses to every single organization out there. The architecture of value itself is changing. A strategy that's centered on humans clicking things is, frankly, a strategy for the past. The future belongs to those who build for automated, agent-driven execution.
Thank you for watching. This is where we teach you AI and help you get smarter than your competition. If you like these videos, use the QR code at the beginning of this video to buy us a coffee or hire us to coach you or your employees in AI. Please subscribe to the AI for Career Success YouTube channel and like, comment, and share to help us reach a wider audience.